So let's go over a few things that we're planning first. I suppose first I should show you our kind of vision. So I'm going to show you a few pictures. These are some mock-ups. If you were at RuneFest, you would have already seen these, but I think it's important that you guys see roughly what we're going for and why we're going for it. So if we open up the first picture, then we're going to see what we're looking at, what we're hoping the game screen will look at, and a lot of this is minimized. So it's important to know, as unsurprisingly, that on a mobile everything is kind of constrained in, and we're very space limited. So the first thing that we've got is on the right, you've got what we call in game, we call the ribbon. So you can open up your inventory or your worn inventory. It's going to be a bit like how the legacy interface works, in that you're only going to be allowed one open at once. In the top right, we've got the compass, and you're going to be able to open that to open up your mini maps. You can be able to move around the world easily. And then the chat button on the left, and then combat area, which I'll talk about more in a minute, where we're actually going to jump in game in a minute, and we're going to see Mod Shauny take on QBD actually on a mobile. So if we flick to the next picture, we're going to pop open everything, and you're going to see why we need to minimize it. Like, all of a sudden, like, our view of the game screen is very, very occluded. So you've got your chat on the left there, that can pop out, and then you can just tap and type in there. You can see the inventories open. One big challenge for us was combat. So we've got action bars in our game, and combat's pretty difficult to accommodate, especially if you're going to be able to do it everywhere. So what we've actually got is the idea of combat mode. So if you're skilling, you're just going to have this sort of thing going on. But if you're going into combat, should we flip to the combat mode? Then you're going to have an interface that looks a little bit like this. So you can see you've got your adrenaline at the bottom there, your HP above that, your prayer and summoning points. Then at the bottom there, you've got an action bar that's purely Revolution. It's completely non-interactable. It's just Revo doing its thing. And then on those little circles you see either side of it are going to be interactive action buttons, and these are going to be bound to action bars. We'll show you it in game in a little bit how you set those, but it's literally bound to one of your 10 action bars. Like, you don't need to set up anything new, you can just flip over to that. And above that you've got your buffs and debuffs. So that's kind of what we're going for. You're going to see it in game in a second. Obviously, it's been made a bit Frankenstein-esque when you go in, because I've just had to steal UI assets from anywhere I can find them in the game to make it kind of look like that. And surprise, surprise, it doesn't look like that. Also,
it's not playing nice.
What is going on there?
Don't know. So,
I'll check that out in a second.
Yep.
So the first thing I'm gonna go over actually is, whilst making mobile, we've thought of a bunch of really cool usability things that we're just gonna add to the game. One of them, I can't really show you it, but we've made a ton of optimizations to the game. To the point where, like, on low spec machines, you're gaining FPS from us optimizing basically what we've done, just how the top level things work. Transparency, for instance, was taking an awful lot of time away from just rendering the game. So we're going to release that soon. You're going to see that in the patch notes. But on low spec machines, we were gaining like almost double-digit FPS. We've also fixed a kind of weird thing. So you know when you are in the bank and you spam click and the tabs at the top go a little bit weird. We fixed that. We fixed the camera screwing up. If you don't have the loading screens on in Barrows, it's a little bit egregious. And we fixed that so the camera no longer screws up. That's a gain of double-digit FPS, not double-digit FPS normally, you cheeky gits. I love you, but you're cheeky. Also, we've added some updates to the ribbon itself. So the ribbon that we saw in the mock-ups doesn't look like this. So if I unlock my interface, and this is what you're used to seeing, and the ribbon itself is kind of locked to these different modes, kind of like the combat bar is. So if I resize the combat bar, you've got like these different modes. Well, we've got rid of that, and you can, like, to help you with your alignment and everything, this thing now resizes just like any other window, so you can just resize it, make it look however you want. We've also allowed you to customize it completely how you want. So if I switch over out of default mode, then you might remember this sort of sequence. And we can like stick it down the bottom here, kind of like how it used to be. Not to mention you can, so if we go in, so you've got full customization, so you can add and remove anything you want. You can do it however you want. We're not gonna dictate anything to you. You can reshuffle them. You can have nothing if you're that way inclined. Look at this wonderful window. It really is up to you to decide how you want it. I'm gonna switch back to default mode because everything's gone. We've also made a start on something known as targeting in combat. So clicking on monsters in the game world was quite difficult. So we've actually started implementing, so if I go into the controls, you're going to see I've got keys bound to next and previous target and direct target. And it's going to smoke puff to see where I'm pointing at, but you can cycle the targets around you if you want. See how it's smoke puffing. The order of the targets isn't very good, so we're going to need to improve that in the engine. As you can see, it feels a little bit random when you're cycling around, sort of thing. And you can also directly target something, so you don't need to start auto-attacking something before you target it. I can just target it, and then I can choose to open up with an ability rather than auto. What else have we done? We've done an awful lot of things. So those are the kind of things that are just going to be coming to the game. We're not going to wait for mobile for them. When they're ready, we're just going to release them because it helps you normally, not just when you're on mobile. There we go. Words, what are they for? So we're having a bit of trouble getting the mobile working right now. So I'm going to see if I can do some interesting hackery to mimic what the mobile interface is going to be looking like. So I'm going to pretend to the game that I am on a mobile, and then I'm going to log out and log back in again. And hopefully, fingers crossed, this will work fine. Don't use the command direct login in live. It will show your password. Thanks for Dardan for testing that for us. Cool. So I completely got rid of everything on my sidebar. So let's at least put like the backpack and the worn equipment. You see, I'm just kind of recreating my my system here. So you can see that the chat's up here now. The mini map's up here. This will be able to minimize soon. You've got your little combat area down here. You've got your buffs and debuffs. I can open and close these. And then if I click on this button, it's going to pop up. And we're going to see we've got our revolution bar down here, and we've got our usable buttons here. Hopefully soon we're going to show you it in action. Like I said, Shauny's going to take on the QBD on mobile, because this does all work. If you go into the game settings, you'll see where you'd normally have your action bar settings. You can just bind your existing action bars to these. So I can bind my action bar 7, which is my utility bar down here, and then my range bar to the revolution bar down here, and then it's just going to perform revolution for me. And if I want to, I don't know, freedom out of the non-existent Minotaur attack, I can just click on that and tap on the screen. So it's all about giving you something that allows you to take on top-end bosses. Shauny earlier on did actually kill Telos using this interface, but we're not going to put that pressure on him on stream, where he's only going to take on QBD.
Nice.
But it kind of we're going to swap to Shauny now, and you're just going to see it actually in action.
Come over. The camera's facing. Oh, hello. So we'll get the camera swapped over in just a minute. So come on over, Pi. Come on over.
All right.
There we go.
We've set it up such that you can see it on screen, but we're gonna.
Oh, goodness!
What?
Sorry, there you go.
Stop
it's me.
pressing buttons.
There we go. We're good. We're good.
Shauny is actually using a mobile phone. We can. Have we got a way of proving that?
Yes.
Right there we go.
Watch.
Oh, we've got a dash cam.
Oh,
dash cam.
Dash cam. There you go.
There we go. So he's using it, but we're mimicking that to show you. So Shauny is we're gonna take on QBD, aren't we? Have you watched my video where I teach, where I teach Dave
Mod Osborne, right?
Mod Osborne, yeah.
Oh goodness. Personally, I'm so nervous.
Are you alright? You might want to go into combat mode first. Like, you've got no combat bars. I'm just gonna throw that one out there.
Ooh, glad you mentioned that. Actually, yeah. Let's press the combat icon and get that stuff.
There we go. Now we can see. Now we can see it.
And obviously, the boxes you're seeing very, very work in progress, FYI. But yeah, you can see that I've tried to customize the bars that I think will help me in this scenario.
And what kind of frame rate have you got on the mobile there?
Well, let's move the camera and we'll see how we're doing here. I think
that's nice and smooth.
Yeah.
I think we're around 60 FPS.
On a phone.
On a phone, which is disgusting.
Awesome. Right. Ignore the huge boxes. It's fine. Right, here we go. No pressure.
I think my favourite thing about taking this to RuneFest was that a few people told me that RuneScape works better on a phone than it did in the gaming PCs in the tent. So that felt good.
I can imagine that feeling good, actually.
Yeah. So right now you can see an immediate problem we've got where the inventory is big. We want to give you your standard 4x7 inventory, but it's
Oops.
you know.
Go away, Yak. Sorry. Not Yak. Titan.
Titan.
Yeah, even. Sorry.
Oh, this is going so well, isn't it? Are you nervous at all, Sean?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, understandably.
It's going on Reddit if you do.
Oh yeah, no pressure.
This is a 1+5. Currently, it runs really well on 1+5s and Samsung S8s, the American version. But we're making massive optimizations every day. I actually test it on an S6. So I think that's going to our aim at our min spec is going to be the S6 and the iPhone 6.
Oh, right to the wall. Sorry, you might hear me randomly shout as we're playing.
That's all right. That's all right.
Oh, not bad. We're dodging the walls though. It's not bad. It's got the souls as well.
Your hand's covering the.
I'm sorry, I can't help. I know he's throwing grot worms.
It's not even P4 yet, man. Like,
press the pin. There you go.
there we go. Oh, you mean
my heart is pounding right now?
You don't surge over. This is.
My heart is pounding. Give me a break, man. Oh,
so as you can see, you've got all these buffs on the left there, debuffs on the right. Adrenaline is building in the center. You've got quick chat button working there. Your summoning button.
Come on. Get over to
like. The idea here is to give you as much control as we can. Obviously, in an ideal world, we'd let you have like
the heels.
Obviously, in an ideal world, we'd give you access to like all of your on-screen action bars. Oh, come on, mate! Not the faster hurdle.
2 minutes. 2 minutes on a mobile. That's not bad.
That's pretty good.
I swear, if I get a good drop now, I'm done. Honestly.
Oh, Pet.
No, please don't. Let's find out.
Come on, Pet. Oh.
Here we go. Here we go.
What we got?
200k. It's not bad. 2 minutes of work with 200k. There you go. There you go. And obviously the QBD interface that we had from Monday's update. Actually.
Yeah.
So there you go.
But how did you find that? Like.
So, personally,
apart from the fact that you were really, really worried, like,
I was absolutely petrified. Essentially, what I really liked was the ability to. So I can just get to my prayers really quickly here. Of course, if you have quick prayers, it actually works in tandem with that as well, which I don't.
Yeah, you really should set them up, surely.
We got obviously our abilities that we want to fire off on the left and right hand side. So if I wanted to fire off my thresholds, which is what I did during that fight, I could just press them straight away. Got my Revolution Bat at the bottom, of course, and just get them to fire off the abilities I need to.
Yeah.
Someone's saying that's faster than their mainscape speed. Oh, there we go. I'm sorry if that's the case. But what saved me then was I had a huge heart in my face going, yeah, you should probably heal up. And of course, my screen turning red, which was an update we brought out last year.
That, yeah.
But man, this is just so useful. But what I'm going to do now actually is I'm going to press this button. If I can.
Oh wow! So it's worth saying that. Currently, we don't have what's known as UI scaling, so the ribbon at the moment is really small compared to all the rest of the buttons. That's because we don't have that thing called UI scaling in, where it's going to look at the phone and allow you to actually press the buttons. So it's going to enlarge all of the buttons on the screen and make everything much better.
So we obviously you touched upon the ribbon itself.
Yeah.
I think it's really handy to say that we can just take out whatever we wish, which is really awesome. And obviously it sets up to 13 icons
giving you
as well.
control, really.
Yeah. So I can just go, hey, I want to see my friends. Hey, I want to see my friends chat, my clan, and you can see I love how it scales as well. It's so handy. So having this for the ribbon is just a win.
It's worth saying as well. If you really really fill it, like just stick as much as you can on there. See how it's really really full. If you okay,
are you going to try and get me to do it right?
I was going to say hold down on the cog, like
hold down on
Wait
the
a second.
cog.
I think.
Can you do it on the mouse?
Yeah, I can. Is if you hover over this. Oh, there we go. It shows you your extra ones.
Very nice.
So the cog, if you hover over it, will actually show you the extra ones.
People are mentioning about my scrimshaw still being on. I'm wasting valuable time.
we do have a working version of UI scaling. It's just not as performant as we'd like. But the idea is to again, it's another thing that we're making it for mobile, but everyone can benefit from it.
Yeah.
So mobile, it's making everything bigger, but then like 4K screens, for instance, are going to seriously.
Because everyone on their 4K screens have the tiny, obviously because the interfaces and scale is very small interfaces, so it's pretty handy to have something like that. That was quite terrifying, by the way. Yeah, genuinely. That was great, though. Enjoyed that a lot.
But like, this is where we are right now with mobile. I hope you can see like we're cracking on. We want to get it to you as soon as possible. Hopefully, I'm gonna hand the combat version of the combat prototype over to you guys, so that you can give me some feedback, take down Telos, and just tell me what you want, really.
Yeah. I mean, apart from that, there's so much work going on already. Obviously, just to reiterate yet again, very work in progress, of course, on the layout.
Yeah, I just grabbed sprites from anywhere.
But I mean, it's there and it looks great and it's pretty awesome. There's a lot of questions actually regarding mobile, but I think what I'm going to do now is get ready to pass over to the couch. My Pi's going to join us, and we'll start answering a load of questions from you in the chat. Let's do it. Oh.